Straight up, I believe Latte Factor is the worst financial advice that has given to every one of us. If you haven't heard of Latte Factor, basically that means you're trying to cut down your expenses so that you get to use the money you saved up to reinvest, and with the power of compound interest, then maybe in several decades the money you save up and the money that you put into the investment will grow to a huge amount of sum. And that's what David Bach has been advocating, like you should be cutting down of your morning coffee, because you see that's not the compulsory expense, right? It's alright to drink the coffee in the office. So the key concept is every dollar you spend today, you are essentially killing all the future opportunities of using that dollar to make some sort of investment, so the return of that dollar will be gone forever. That's why it's so important to cut down on your expenses so that you can use that to reinvest, and that's the key idea of Latte Factor. So you see, I came from an Asian background, so I'm definitely not a stranger to the Latte Factor, because, well, my parents love to compare the prices of different grocery stores. They're willing to spend hours to go to different stores just so they can spend the least amount to buy the same amount of goods. So definitely I'm very aware of the Latte Factor, and I used to be a firm believer of that, but that has definitely ruined my life, and I don't want you to be too obsessed with Latte Factor because it will do you more harm than good. Hello everyone, my name is Keith So, and I create content about career empowerment for young professionals. If you find my video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. The first problem of being too obsessed with Latte Factor is you will develop a scarcity mindset. Earlier, I created a video about the toxic mentality that you should avoid, and scarcity mindset is one of them, so definitely check that out if you want to know more about it. So generally speaking, a scarcity mindset is a belief that there will never be enough, whether it's money, food, emotions, or something else entirely. And as a result, your thoughts and your action will be stemmed from a place of lack. So you know that's never good for law of attraction, right? If you believe nothing is enough, then of course nothing will be enough, and it just won't come into your way because you just think you don't deserve it. You subconsciously think there's not enough of it, and that could be a problem. And of course you're not going to attract more like-minded people, and you will be less likely to discover opportunities. Now, another thing is Latte Factor could make you become a stingy person, and a stingy person is never attractive. I just want to share a personal experience with you. Back in university, there's a girl I really liked, and I was fortunate enough to have a chance to date her. Well, I was quite a broke student back then, and I lived frugally, and I tried to avoid unnecessary spending wherever possible. And you might have guessed it, I have cheaped out on my first date. So back then I took her to a semi-decent restaurant, and I picked the cheapest item from the menu. When we finished, the staff gave us the dessert menu. So what happened is the girl said, I want to try out the cheesecake. I think that is very popular. I heard it's pretty good. I really want to try it out. And do you know what I said? And I was like, are you sure? That cake looks so sugary and fat. If you have it, you are going to gain heaps of weight. You are going to look fat.
The next day.
And that's pretty much the end of the story. I've never got a chance to see her again. So probably she has sensed my stinginess, and of course you see that is very unattractive. Or maybe I just screw up the date anyway, but who cares? What I really mean is if you follow Latte Factor straightly, then it would be very difficult for you to be generous to other people. And of course it's hard to develop a serious relationship with them. The third reason why I feel Latte Factor is BS is it will kill a lot of fun in your life. Some people might argue, your morning coffee isn't a necessity. You can just have the coffee in the office. But we all know office coffee is yuck. Now, of course, we all know it's not true that you have to pay a lot for premium services or experience. You can also enjoy life without spending heaps of money. But the thing is, majority of the time, the good stuff usually are quite costly. It will cost you some money. So the thing is, if you are cheaping out, if you follow Latte Factor, then a lot of the time you will just end up choosing the cheapest option. You always see price as the main reason for you to make a financial decision, and that's often a bad move. Say you might be buying some cheap brand, buying some inferior clothing, but as you might know, they worn out pretty easily and they usually don't look cool anyway. And you are going to compromise a lot, and that will make you a very unhappy person. And I think this is the main thing here. Living frugally, saving and reinvesting doesn't really make you rich. You might argue the power of compound interest, and I do respect that, but it won't become effective unless it's like 20 or 30 years. And that's a very long time for you. I always believe one thing, and that is if you are trying to be rich, saving is not always the solution. If you look into the richest people in the world, none of them are by saving and investing. You might argue Warren Buffett is one exception, but that's not really the case, because how he built his wealth is by purchasing different companies and make various decisions instead of the passively saving and the passively investing. I always believe if you want to make money, I think there's a more reliable and quicker way, and that is provide value to the market. You should try to solve a problem in the market, and because people are more willing to pay you money, and that's a lot more effective. You're just going to earn a lot faster than waiting for like 20 or 30 years. Focus more on earning instead of saving. I really respect the fact that we should be reducing our luxury spending so that we can save up and reinvest, but you shouldn't see saving as the top priority. That's what I meant. Do you know why people like Latte Factor so much? Why they too so proud of living frugally? Because saving is easy. All you need to do is just cut down your expenses. But on the other hand, finding ways to make more money is a bit more difficult. I do think you really need to step out of that comfort zone if you want to become rich faster. So yeah, you should still save money, but don't go too far. Focus more effort on earning money. And again, what's the fun of skipping your morning coffee? So don't feel guilty about ordering your coffee. Just proudly order it and work harder. Open your eyes and look for more opportunities. That's what I want to share with you. If you find this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Signing off.